The human nervous system evolved to navigate flat, terrestrial landscapes at a walking pace. Stepping into a suspended metal box and being hurled hundreds of feet into the sky is an immediate, unnatural shock to our biology. For millennia, vertical hoists were considered too dangerous for humans. They were strictly reserved for hauling cargo and construction materials, or hoisting wild animals and gladiators onto the floor of the Roman Colosseum. Humans did not trust ropes with their lives. That distrust remained until 1852, when Elisha Otis introduced the automatic safety brake. He engineered a heavy spring mechanism that would snap outward and lock the platform into its guide rails if a hoisting cable lost tension. By addressing the terror of the freefall, this single mechanical invention inverted urban real estate values. The topmost floors of buildings, once the cheapest and undesirable spaces due to the grueling climb, were instantly converted into the most expensive, luxurious penthouses in the city. But while Otis solved the mechanics of gravity, the engineering remained at odds with human neurobiology. Surviving the ride was only the first problem. The early passenger experience was dictated by the jerk rate, the sudden, unpredictable changes in acceleration. The human vestibular system is highly sensitive to these shifts, and the rough leveling of early manual elevators often induced nausea and vertigo. Before the 1950s, building owners employed human operators to manage this physical discomfort. These uniformed attendants manually piloted the cars, but their primary function was to act as a host, providing a reassuring social presence that masked the intimidating machinery in the shaft. That social buffer vanished during the automation boom of the 1950s. Operators were replaced by push buttons, leaving passengers alone in windowless metal boxes to face the raw mechanical experience of the ride. This chart outlines the resulting crisis. Without an operator, tenants complained elevators were too slow. As the left side shows, increasing speed pushes jerk rates past comfort limits, causing nausea. Since mechanical upgrades were unfeasible, the industry pivoted right, managing how long the wait felt. Engineers realized that if they could not safely speed up the machinery, they had to hack the passenger's perception instead. The psychology of waiting follows a formula identified by researcher David Maister. Satisfaction equals perception minus expectation. The objective tick of a clock rarely matches the subjective experience of the human mind. A critical principle here is that unoccupied time feels longer than occupied time. Staring at a blank door forces the brain to focus entirely on the passage of time. This diagram illustrates the cognitive redirection that solved the problem. Mirrors gave the brain a highly prioritized visual task, self-appraisal. Because processing capacity is finite, focusing on the reflection forces the nervous system to stop tracking the clock. By simply providing a reflection, subjective wait times dropped. Building managers successfully reduced tenant complaints without altering the elevator's physical speed by a single second. The mirror also acts as a spatial intervention. The brain maps a dynamic, invisible defensive boundary around the physical body, known as peripersonal space. For individuals with high trait claustrophobia, this neurological bubble is projected much further outward. When they step into an elevator, the walls intersect their defensive zone, triggering an immediate sensation of suffocation. The human visual system does not interpret a mirror as a flat piece of glass, but as authentic, dimensional physical depth. This optical illusion visually doubles the depth of the cabin. It pushes architectural boundaries outside the passenger's defensive zone, pacifying the brain's subconscious threat detection system. Sociologist Irving Goffman identified a rule for public interaction called civil inattention, the requirement to acknowledge a stranger, then immediately avert your gaze to respect their personal space. The physical proximity of an elevator cabin destroys the distance required for these normal social rituals. Staring forward is monotonous, yet making direct eye contact in such a confined box feels intrusive. Here, the mirror acts as a social release valve. It allows passengers to monitor the space for threats without violating the rules of civil inattention. Beyond psychology, mirrors are anchored in international law. The EN 81-70 standard mandates mirrors for wheelchair maneuverability. Without room to rotate, the mirror reflects a line of sight back out the open doors, functioning as a rear-view mirror to reverse safely into the lobby. This is a legally mandated safety tool that grants physical autonomy to millions of passengers, functioning as a precise instrument of accessibility. In modern skyscrapers, algorithms now manage occupant volume through destination dispatch technology. Passengers enter their floor on a lobby kiosk, and a central computer groups them with others traveling to the same height before they ever board. This system reduces stops, but often requires reverse journeys, briefly taking a passenger down to pick up others before heading to their final destination. This contradicts human expectation and generates new forms of anxiety. To combat this, the passive glass mirror is evolving into dynamic digital screens. These displays inside the cabin constantly update passengers on their progress, ensuring the wait is explained and transparent. As elevators become more algorithmic, the original function of the mirror is being digitized to bridge the gap between human emotion and mechanical logic. Recent empirical research clarifies why these interventions are necessary. A 2026 study by Masayuki Shiomi found that a passenger's biological stress is predicted far more accurately by their perceived wait time than by the actual ticking of the clock. Attempting to solve human impatience purely by increasing mechanical horsepower will consistent fail because it addresses the wrong hardware. When confronted with an uncompromising mechanical limit, the most effective engineering solution isn't to redesign the machine, but to better understand the mind using it.